You're watching your source of news updates. I'm Lian Lusanes.
And I'm Gia Pasqua, and you're watching
Kulasa News Update. The General Appropriation Act was passed last December by the Senate and President Benigno Aquino III. Here's Amaya Ross with the news.
Last December 20, President Benigno Aquino III signed and passed the General Appropriations Act, the proposed national budget for 2014 that was unanimously ratified by their senators.
I'm here today in the Bahay ng Alumni where I interviewed research project staff Mr. Alcy Quintalic of Social Watch Philippines.
The GAA allots 20 billion for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of the calamity-stricken areas in the Philippines, although questions still remain as to how transparent the processing of the budget will be. According to Mr. Quintalic, one of Social Watch's major concerns is that there are still various lump sum appropriations in the budget, which are not specifically specified.
There's a BICAM report. Listed here yung 9 agencies in which the 20 billion, yung breakdown ng 20 billion to the relevant implementing agencies. Hindi niya nilagay rito if it will go to the particular provinces or regions.
Section 89 of the General Appropriation Act states that the agencies must submit quarterly reports of lump sum releases to the House Committee on Appropriations and Senate Committee on Finance. In turn, the Department of Budget and Management must also submit their own reports on releases since they hold the lump sum funds. According to Professor Emeritus Leonor Briones of Social Watch Philippines, the last time the SPF was audited was 2009, and without the uncovering of the 2013 PDAF scam, they would not have started to audit such big comprehensive amounts like the project budgets. The Department of Budget and Management has replied to the issue stating, and we quote, "We concur that there are still budget allocations that are still in lump sum. This is because these budgetary allocations are allocated for very specific purposes and which are lump sum in nature, as the recipient departments and agencies and/or the specific programs and projects have not yet been identified during budget preparation and legislation. We have yet to hear about the finalization of the GAA and if the issue of lump sums will be reviewed by the Senate." This has been Amaya Rojas of Kulasa News Update. Back to the studio, back to you, Gia and Lian.
Many Filipino people living in Tacloban City were affected by the typhoon.
Thank you, Misha. Relief efforts from both local and foreign aid for the victims of Typhoon Yolanda are still underway. Here's Jeremy with more details.
Many Filipino people living in Tacloban City were affected by the Typhoon Yolanda, and residents were left in an upsetting situation. Fellow Filipinos had responded quickly to the needs of the victims, including foreign countries. One of the chief trainers of Bureau of Customs, Mr. Jesus G. Laranda, said that most foreign donations for typhoon victims were clothing, food, and medicine.
The processing will take about a matter of minutes or hours. And I can assure you in one day it will be released. Kasi time is of the essence.
Mr. Laranda explains that the review of import documents may cause a delay in the release of donated goods.
Sa amin kasi ang concern namin, medicine, we'll have to check na yung medicine talaga is still safe for human consumption. Baka naman mga expired na yung gamot, lalo pang makasakit, di ba? Yung pagkain talagang fit for human consumption.
Meanwhile, UNICEF has also been consistently responding to the needs of the typhoon victims.
Pagdating ng nitong Yolanda na to, ang ginawa lang ng UNICEF is immediately we ordered the basic goods or items na intended for emergency, tulad ng mga emergency health kit. Actually, meron kami binili previously ng 65,000 na hygiene kit na in-arrange yun with the supplier in terms of their production rate, and then with that, in-organize namin yung tracking na parang lumalabas everyday meron kaming 3 truck na tumatakbo papuntang Tacloban just to immediately deploy yung mga items na yun.
Despite the poor economy, the Philippine government, together with the NGOs, still find ways to respond in this kind of emergency. This is Jeremy De Los Santos reporting.
Thank you, Maya. Kulasa News Update will be back after a short break. Colasa News Update. 156 cases of severe malnutrition was detected among the survivors of Typhoon Yolanda. Ana Alter has the news.
Department of Agriculture and Food and Agriculture Organization partner up to provide seedlings and fertilizers to the victims of the Typhoon Yolanda. Help would be extended up until December 2014.
So, binase na lang namin yung aming tulong ay yung ginawang rehab quick response doon sa existing na may tinatawag kasi kaming yung standing crop kung sa amin. But that time, yung standing crop dapat supposed to be harvested. So, yun yung damage.
Based on the final crop damage report as of December 6, 2013, here are the following provinces affected by Typhoon Yolanda with their corresponding worth of damages incurred in the area along with the summary of subtotal damages. Some areas include Leyte, Samar, Biliran, and nearby provinces.
Dagdating naman yung mga seeds. Rice seeds, corn seeds, yung kasaba, cutting sa kamote, basta mga seeds, gulay, yun naman. Then sa clearing naman, yung PCA nagpadala ng chainsaw, nagpadala ng yung mga ibang region, tractors, lahat marami.
The Department of Agriculture proposed a rehabilitation plan for immediate interventions in the following municipalities and estimated cost for rehabilitation. And this is Trishika Medina reporting from Department of Agriculture.
COMELEC Unresolved Issues. We have Lian Lasanias for the report. 7 months after the May 2013 elections, electoral issues still remain.
From 2010 election, the government provided us with an automated election system. Due to this, there are a lot of controversies and issues that were raised against the COMELEC in the Senate by the ICE Watch. These issues are namely the allegedly overprinting of ballots even after the May 2013 election, the questionable digital signature, and the accuracy and capability of the PICOS machine to read and count votes. Director James Jimenez and Director Attorney Ferdinand Rafanan has something to say about these issues.
Kung may marka, binabasa ba? And 100% binabasa naman ako.
Kung 99.995 ang ni-require natin noon na dapat accuracy niya, ang actual na accuracy niya as reported by the PPCRD, ito yung result ng kanilang random manual audit, ay 99.997.
The statements directly contradict the allegation against the accuracy of the result given by the PICOS machine. With regards to the issue of allegedly overprinting of ballots, both directors don't see any point about this accusation.
Hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit mag-print pa ng COMELEC long after the election. I do not believe that story of overprinting.
So yung kanilang paniniwala na nag-print kami ng extra ballots, siguro, actually, hindi namin alam kung kanino nanggaling yung rumor na yun, no? Basically, yes, we did say na we will investigate yung printing press, no? But, again, wala naman kami nakita. No?
Both defended the act.
This is Lian Lasanias,
And I'm Via Pasqua, and you're watching
Colasa News Update.